Hello everyone, this is Daniel. I'm a sales engineer over here at Infrascale. Today we'll be going over our Infrascale Cloud Backup solution, which is our direct-to-cloud agent-based solution. I'm going to go ahead and give our attendees another few minutes to join, just to make sure that everybody can jump in and get started off from the beginning. So if you have any questions before we start, please feel free to drop them into the question panel, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Like I said, we'll get started here in a few minutes. Thank you. Okay, just want to remind everybody that we will be starting the webinar here in just a few minutes. We are on the line. We're just waiting to make sure that everybody has a chance to join in before we start the demo. Okay, so just a few more minutes and we'll get started. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for their patience. We're going to go ahead and get this webinar started. Now, as I stated earlier, today we're going to be going over the Infrascale Cloud Backup solution. This is an agent-based push model, so you'll be pushing the data from the machine directly to the cloud, no hardware in between. It's file and folder level, as well as SQL database, Exchange database, and there are options for Exchange granular recovery, as well as bare metal licensing. Those are available as well. It is 256-bit, AES encrypted, in transit, and at rest in our data center, ensuring that anytime we take the data offsite for the backups, that it is completely secure against any prying eyes. So what you're looking at here is the Infrascale Dashboard. So this is the single pane of glass that we offer to anybody that has the Infrascale products. Whether it is our direct-to-cloud solution, which we'll be talking about today, or our Infrascale Disaster Recovery solution, which is our appliance-based cloud failover solution, or our cloud application backup solution, which is backup for your Office 365, G Suite, Salesforce, and so forth. All of those can be managed directly through this web page. So the data that you're looking at here pertains to our direct-to-cloud data. So we have this in a tiered management system. So what that means is that at the very top of the tier, you have your company accounts. So your companies are any end users that may be using your product, or different aspects of your business like marketing and production and so forth that may be using the solution. Below that are your backup accounts. So backup accounts are individual users, or in the case of a single admin, just a single admin account to back up all of your devices, a little flexible in that regard. And at the very bottom, we have all the devices that we're protecting. So we protect Windows, Linux, Mac. We protect, sorry, got something stuck in my throat there. So yes, Windows, Linux, Mac for the direct cloud solution, again, file and folder level, as well as Android and iOS for your mobile devices. So I always like to start off with a use case so that you can understand kind of how this solution is deployed, so you can get a better idea of what we're talking about. So first thing we do is we come over to manage companies. Let's say that we've got a law office and they've got 5 users. Go ahead and click on Create Company and go ahead and fill out the information. So for the company name, we'll call it Law Office, keep it nice and simple. You've got your quota, so how much space do we think that this site's going to need? Hopefully we're pretty spot on with this. You know, we've done our research, we know how much data that they want to have backed up. Likely it is adjustable up or down in the future, so let's just say we'll start them off with 500 gigs. If they come in lower than that after the first month or more than that, we can go ahead and adjust it on the fly. These are the third-party licensing that I was talking about. You've got your Exchange granular recovery as well as your bare metal licensing available to you. For the full name, this is going to be the administrator for this account. So if that is you, it'll be your admin and your admin's name at your company. If you've got an end user that's managing it, you can put in their admin's information. Either way is perfectly fine. And then for the username, you can change it up a little bit. Maybe call it Law Office. You can use an email address if you'd like, but usernames can only be used once in our system. So depending on your environment, you may want to use a different name. And then of course you fill out the password, and then you have our ultra-safe function. So our ultra-safe function is great for those security-conscious companies, those HIPAA-compliant companies that require the removal of password recovery. So by checking off ultra-safe, it removes the ability to recover your password by you, by the end user, by Infrascale. That password is completely held by whoever owns that password. Now that's much more secure. However, as with most security, it is a double-edged sword. If the password is lost, there is no access to the account, and we need to start fresh with a new account. Now, once a company is created, it gets put into a list of other companies that you have within your system. So you've got your full company name here, their admin information, the size of the account, how much space they've actually allocated to their end users. So when you give this 500 gigs to this company, you still need to allocate that data out to end users that you tie devices to. And then, of course, used space is how much space has been used out of that allocation. Now on the right here, you've got Manage. So you've got a few options in here, but the main option that gets used is the Recovery Events Report. So this actually allows you to generate a report to the admin of this company using a date range, and it'll fill out all the files that have been recovered within that time frame. So it'll let you know the file name, which backup account restored it to which IP address. So it really gives you a full breakdown as far as where this data is going, to ensure that if whoever does have access to the restoration capabilities, it's not restoring them to any place that they shouldn't be. Now, once you have created the company, you'll then create backup accounts underneath that company. So the wizard is very similar, only difference being you'll choose from the drop-down list of that company that you just created and then fill the rest of it out. Now, we do have the ability to limit rights. So what limiting the rights will do is remove this user's ability to delete data out of the cloud. Now, depending on your business model, if you're the one that's managing it and you've only got single admin for all these accounts, it's not something that you want to worry about. However, if you do allow your end users to access their data in the cloud, you want to make sure to limit their rights if you're worried that they may be accidentally or maliciously deleting data in the future. Once you've created this backup account, it will get put into this list of other backup accounts that you have. It will let you know which company it's under, their actual size, and how much space has been used out of that allocation. It also lets you know how many devices are attached to this account. So we offer the ability to have unlimited amount of devices attached to your account, no extra charges on top of that. So whether you have 1 terabyte of data being used by one machine or 1 terabyte of data being used by 100 machines, it's going to still be the same cost. Now here under Manage, you do have some options as well. You can, of course, change the account size. So like I said, you can change that on the fly should you need to. You can suspend the account, so this will stop all backups and throw up an error that says, please contact your administrator. Really useful if you've got a company that's maybe not being as responsive as you would like when it comes to payments or communications between you two, and you really need to get their attention. Suspend account will do that. You've also got cancel account. Cancel account is going to do exactly what it says. It's going to cancel the account and flag the data to be deleted within a 2-week rolling cycle. So depending on where Infrascale is at during that deletion cycle, the data could be deleted within 10 minutes or it could be deleted within 2 weeks. Really depends on where we're at during that cycle. And then finally, we have the cleanup account tool. So the cleanup account tool is really useful to clean up the space that maybe is backed up on accident. So, you say, you ask the customer, Mr. Customer, how much space do you need? I've got a 500 gig hard drive, 238 of that, 235 gigs of that is used. I need 235 gigs of space. When in all actuality, what they're really saying is, I just need my documents backed up. So when it comes down to it, you can come in here and say, all right, I want to make sure that he has his documents backed up. But we really don't need to grab the iTunes folder from the workstation. We don't need the system temp and cache folder because we're just backing up the directory and the files underneath that. And let's just say, hey, they're not in marketing. They don't need their videos or pictures either. All they should be worried about is their documents. You can then click delete, and that will remove all of those file types out of the cloud and flag the backup to not capture those types of files anymore. Makes it really simple to clean up that space and de-bloat the end user's cloud storage should it need to be done. Now we also have what are called backup policies. So backup policies are a template that you can create within the dashboard that allow you to define the backup set, the backup time. You can have it based off of size, by date. You can have a retention policy applied to it, so if you want to have the data deleted out of the cloud after 365 days, you can do so. You can have it scan the entire computer, or just the users folder if you're just looking to capture documents, desktop, downloads, and so forth. Again, choose specific file types. So no, we don't want music files in there. We don't want image or video. That's great. And then, of course, set a specific schedule. You can then click Save, and you now have this template in your dashboard that you can attach to any device underneath your account. And to do that is pretty straightforward. You can come over to Manage Devices, and the Devices page is going to show you all the devices that you have underneath your account. You can then come to Configure Backup Jobs and choose that policy. Once you choose that policy, you can click Apply and add that policy directly to this device. And you can do this in a mass action as well, and you can apply this policy to all the devices underneath that account if you need to. Now, in this device list, this gives you a breakdown of which backup account this device is tied to, what the device's name is, if the services are running and we could talk to them, where the device is located, versionings, and so forth. And you've got some options under here under Actions. So you've already shown you the configure of the backup jobs. You can download your logs remotely. So really simple troubleshooting guidelines. Always grab the logs first and view what they say. So instead of having to RDP into this machine and try to remember where the logs are at, you can come into the dashboard and just click download logs. That'll download a zip folder directly to your machine that you can break open and investigate. Everything's in plain text. They'll tell you what the name of the file is, what the issue is, and if it's a fairly common error, you also have a knowledge base article on how to fix that error. Now, if that's too much, if you decide that I just want to get this information off and fixed, you can absolutely send it to our 24/7 stateside support team, and they'll be happy to instruct you on next steps. We also have the ability to either run your backup or update your application. So both of these are instant and silent. This allows you to either run backup at this point in time or update the application to the newest version. Now you do also have the ability to select all the devices underneath this account and click Run Backup or Update Application. So this can be done on the fly in a mass action format. Then we also have Wipe Device. So this is currently available for our Windows devices. This allows us to wipe data in two different formats. First is just wipe data, which takes a look at the local machine and only deletes data off of that local machine that corresponds with the corporate backup software. So a great use case for this is a BYOD situation. The customer's got their own laptop from home. They've got their one-year-old's pictures on there and so forth. You don't want to destroy necessarily their data. You want to make sure that when they leave the company, they don't have any pertinent company data on there. Wipe data is going to do that for you. Wipe device, however, is used in that instance where somebody swipes the laptop. It deletes the system files, wrecks the boot table, pretty much makes Windows inoperable until it's reinstalled. This will make sure that the users, if they do get your laptop, don't have the ability to access that data. Now we'll go ahead and move on to our reporting. So we have two different types of reporting. We've got our more passive reporting, which is where you can come in here on the reporting section and see all the backup jobs. So you'll see here we've got a full breakdown as far as where it came from, what the backup set was, and what the event was. You can click on this magnifying glass and it'll say, hey, no backup in 3 days. We consider that a failure. If we're not backing up your data at least every day, there's usually too many changes that we're missing. Right, so normal backup schedules once a day. We also have the straight failed option, and that'll let you know, hey, this is from our appliance infrastructure, but it'll let you know, hey, there's an issue. Please take a look at the logs for more information, and then you can download those logs to your site. Now we do also have monitoring under the settings option here. We'll go ahead and open that up for you, and this is where our more active monitoring is at. So you can choose to have trigger emails based off of daily monitoring, so every job that ran that day and what its status was, as well as trigger-based emails for quota, getting close to going over their storage quota, going over their storage quota, if it hasn't completed in a certain amount of days, and so forth. You've got your daily account details email, so that's going to give you a breakdown of all the accounts you have underneath your dashboard and who's closest to going over quota. To make sure that none of that ever sneaks up on you, you can be more active about reaching out to your end users. And then finally, we have anomaly detection. So this feature actually won us an award in the security space when it comes to dealing with ransomware, and we're not even a security company. What this does is it allows you to take a baseline of the files that are being changed per day. So let's say that you've got a small business, they're maybe changing 10 files a day. So they're changing 10 files a day, and then all of a sudden, they start hitting 30, 40, 50 files a day in change rate. That's going to break the threshold, which you can set here manually, anywhere from 1x to 2x, 3x, and so on. And it's going to send out an email to the admin of this account stating that, hey, we see a lot of unusual activity here. We want to make sure that you know about it so that you can investigate and make sure that's not ransomware. The reason why we don't just stop the backup is it could be a false positive. It could be something like a tax preparer who, 9 months out of the year is not overly busy, and then come tax season, they're swamped. So we're not going to just stop your backups. We're going to notify you so that you can investigate and verify that, yes, it is ransomware, or no, it's a false positive. We even take it a step further, and we do ransomware extension scanning. So every file that we're bringing in, we're scanning for known ransomware extensions. So this first one, anomaly detection, is going to keep you up to date with the newest ransomware. Just came out last night, hasn't made its way onto the security boards yet. This anomaly detection is going to keep you safe there. Our extension scanning is going to keep you safe from other known ransomware like WannaCry, Petra, Griffin. All those that are already well known. We have a running database of those that we're scanning for, making sure that if you do get ransomware, you're notified the same day. Make sure that you don't have to worry about getting the update from your end user in 4 weeks when they have no access to the data and you've lost 4 weeks worth of time. Now this is a fully rebrandable solution as well. So you can rebrand the software client itself, just change the desktop icon, the logo, overall how it looks, as well as the dashboard itself. So if you do decide that you want to provide your users a way to view their data, you can go ahead and put your information here. There would be no need to have our name on it if you don't want to. And to make sure that you're up to date with everything that's going on with the dashboard and Infrascale itself is our Partner Resource Center. So this is where you can come for anything Infrascale, webinars, past webinars, upcoming events and webinars, product information as far as both the disaster recovery solution and the direct-to-cloud solution. White label templates that you can rebrand with your information and send out to your customers. You've also got sales guides, compliance guidelines, ransomware mitigation paperwork, all kinds of information about Infrascale and how best to utilize our solution to save your customers from disaster. Okay. So all of this does come with 24/7 stateside support, phone, email, and chat, as well as unlimited training for you, for your customers, for anybody that may need it for the length of the contract, as well as unlimited demos. So we're happy to do a demo for you. Reach out to our sales team and say, hey, I've got some questions. We're happy to answer anything that you may have. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our questions. Please feel free to drop any questions you have in the Q&A panel, and we'll go ahead and address those right now. Thank you. Okay, I do have a question here. It says, hello, is your, yes, okay, sorry. So it says, hello, is your solution encrypted locally or is it only in the cloud? So to clarify, our solution is encrypted in transit, so as we send it offsite, and in the cloud by default, 256-bit AES encryption. We do also have the functionality or the ability to turn on local encryption on that on this device as well, using our UltraSafe Max solution. Now we do also even offer it one step further, and we offer double-blind encryption. So if you really want to make sure it's extra secure, you can have it 256-bit AES encrypted at all 3 points, as well as have double-blind encryption available to you. Next question here is, how do I get more information? So this recording will be sent out to everybody that has joined the call today. You also have the ability to go to the Infrascale webpage, www.infrascale.com, or send an email out to sales@infrascale.com, and our team will be happy to reach out to you and answer more questions you may have. I have another question here as well. It says, can we host in our data center an Infrascale server? So for the direct-to-cloud, we do have what's called our data protection server option. So we'll go ahead and put that server in your data center, and we'll monitor it for uptime, and we'll put it in with our network of other servers so that we can monitor that for you. And you'll have your own server that all of your direct-to-cloud data will go to. Looking here, one moment. So it looks like it's about all the questions that we have. I'll give it another minute for anybody else to come up with some questions, and then we'll go ahead and end the webinar. When I was muted, I apologize. So somebody asked how many data centers we have. So we do have 16 data centers globally, 7 in the United States and the rest at a global scale, as well as the ability to use Google Cloud as our back-end platform and use their data centers wherever they may be. All right, so it looks like that might be the last of the questions. So we're going to go ahead and end the demo today. Again, please feel free to let me know if you have any questions. You can email support@infrascale.com. And we're happy to take on, support@infrascale.com or sales@infrascale.com, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. Hope everybody has a great day, and thank you for joining me.